Hey guys. Um, so different scenery from my other videos. Um, I needed a change with my videos because every time I was making videos, I was in an uncomfortable position. I was making most of them in the computer room, and in there we have a wooden hardback chair for our computer desk, and it was very uncomfortable to sit in and make videos. And the other times I made videos was in our bathroom, and the light kind of gives off like an orangey look, and I was sitting up against a wall, and it was very uncomfortable too. So now I'm in the living room, and I'm sitting in this huge oversized chair, and it's much more comfortable, and I think I can concentrate better on what I'm saying, because I notice in some of my videos I lose my train of thought and um, kind of stumble around my words, but that might just be me. I don't know. But let's see. And I got my phone here for the time. Um, I am obviously, as you've seen my other videos about recovery process, I'm continuing the series with just different topics that randomly come up in my head that I think are important and essential to see. This is me. Um, to direct towards recovery, I think that need to be talked about. So this video is about when you're in recovery, um, the negative comments that you get and the feedback that you get from, gaining weight or about what people think about recovery, just everybody's input on your recovery process in your life when you are struggling with an eating disorder and trying to get into a better place, because it's hard enough to recover, but it's even harder when you have to be around family, friends, and hear the negative connotations that they have about your body and about the way that you act around food and just all those kind of things. And I just kind of want to share some things that have gone on with my recovery process and how I've dealt with the negative comments, because it's very triggering for me. The most triggering thing for me is not when somebody tells me their weight or how much they eat, but it is family situations. It's when I have to be around other people that don't have eating disorders and that don't understand me and that make comments about my body, and it's just like I stand there without a response, and I'm just kind of in shock, and I don't want to say, hey, don't say that to me, I'm in a bad place, because I don't want them to think, oh my gosh, you're still struggling with that, and I don't want to bring it up sometimes. But then I don't want to not say anything, because then I don't want them to keep saying it. So sometimes it's very hard for me to even have a response to those people whenever they say something negative against my body. But when I was first recovering and I started to gain some weight, about 10, 15 pounds or so, when I was gaining my weight back from such a low weight, I started to get compliments on my body like, wow, you look so much better. How much weight have you gained back? You're doing fine, aren't you? You're over the eating disorder now, I can tell. Just the list of comments that would go on and on and on about my body. And it's just like you don't know how to respond to that, because you want to say, okay, hold up. Do you even know about an eating disorder? Do you know that it's not about the weight? That it's I mean, it is has to do with weight, the physical part, but it's in the general broad, it's not about weight. It's about how you feel about yourself, and that's why they call it a mental illness. Most people, when they think of anorexia, bulimia, just eating disorders, they think of emaciation, and they think of just vanity and losing weight, and that's what it's all about. And they think that it just all started because somebody called you fat and you decided to go on a diet and it turned bad. I mean, that is true sometimes, but it's something that gets so out of control, and it really is a mental illness. And that's what a lot of people don't get, and they're very insensitive, and basically because nobody knows about eating disorders, it's very misunderstood in our society. Um, because it just seems that when I'm around people and they talk about eating disorders, they categorize it as someone being super skinny, and that's about it. That's an eating disorder. Someone's skinny. That's all. So it's just, it's made fun of a lot in my family, even though behind closed doors, my whole family has food issues and weight issues and their own self-esteem, confidence issues in my family. But the actual part where people want to get down and dirty with talking about the mental aspect and the pain and the issues, forget it. They're not going to want to talk about it. It's all hidden under the rug. But anyways, I got a lot of comments on my body when I was first gaining weight, like especially, you look so healthy now. You look so much better. I'm glad you're doing so much better. I'm glad that you're over the eating disorder. And I wasn't over the eating disorder. I was working on myself physically and mentally at the same time, but the physical part just came first. Of course, because I was gaining weight whenever I was eating and I was taking it slowly, and it's just like I'm going through all this hard work and I have to hear that from people. And they don't really understand how sensitive I am at that moment. They think that they can just come up to you and say whatever they want. But to a person that was, um, I don't know, any other addiction, any other illness, people don't seem to come up to people and say that kind of stuff. They might encourage them and say, "I'm glad you're doing well," but that's it. It's just like every other addiction isn't so consuming because, okay, I told my husband this to be able to understand how of a day-to-day battle this is with someone with alcoholism and someone with an eating disorder, how hard it is and how much they differ. Someone with alcohol problem is obviously tempted every day to go out and drink, but you don't have to have alcohol to survive. You have to have food to survive. And every day I am faced with a meal in front of me or snacks in front of me, and I have to repetitively, over and over and over and over again, tell myself that it is okay to eat that food. An alcoholic doesn't have to deal with the alcohol every single day, but only by his choice. I have to deal with food every day because without food, I'm going to die. But you don't die without alcohol. That's why I believe that an eating disorder is so much more, the recovery process is so, so long term because it takes so long to get over the fact that every day you have to deal with this. It's not an easy battle. It's not something that you just overcome and you gain weight and it's over with. It's not just that easy as people want to make it out to be. It's something that we have to deal with on a daily basis, as I just said. So, just kind of wanted to make that point, and that made him understand and want to help me work on it more, and um, that just made him see what a struggle it is, and not just, oh, we'll get over it. How come an alcoholic or a drug addict can, get over it sooner and you can't get over this eating disorder? It's just food, just eat it. Um, it just seems like alcoholism and people with drug problems and stuff, they're just so much more, people are more sympathetic for that because it just seems like there's more information out there about it. You hear Just Say No commercials and drunk driving commercials and how it can affect people's lives, but you really don't hear that much about eating disorders. Or, at least I don't. But that's probably 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop right there and probably make a part two because I have so much to talk about on the negative connotations of people's body and the recovery process. Bye.